This right here, it says 12 killed, over 100 injured at gas pipeline exploded. So you're going to have people that actually perish, and you're going to have those who don't perish. But it's a balance. You got people that's meant to be redeemed and saved. Then you're going to have those that are not meant to be redeemed and saved at that time. So the ones that the Most High says hedge upon, this type of stuff ain't going to affect them. They ain't going to be running around eating each other, killing each other over a loaf of bread and shit like that. They're going to be straight. Now, on the contrary, let me go back to this. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Verse 16, it says, and he calleth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their what? Both heads. Can't make this up, man. Anybody else playing games, talking opposite of this, they either been bought off or they actually been blinded. You got it right here. And if you actually look at a lot of these, go to the grocery store, whatever you buy. Let's see if I got one. See it right here close by. Yep. Let me show you. What does the barcode say on there? Let me look at it real quick. You see, you might have to see I got the numbers on the screen. There you go. What does that say right there? 1, 2 of them. And there go the third one. So you can't make this up, man. Straight out of the scriptures, man. This ain't no made-up book. The white man, they write this book. They're not even that intelligent as they portray to be. All the stuff that they actually do create is given to them from the Most High, just so they can fulfill His will. Like with them creating them nukes. They not that smart to create nukes. Them motherfuckers in caves and shit running it. Them motherfuckers is doing that shit. They just got smart because we fucked up. So the Most High allowed them to overtake us or overcome us. Other than that, they like brute beasts, man. So let me see what else precept I want to pull before I end this up. This is another video too I seen. Oh, here you go right here. The drought. And they talking about this gonna take place in more states too as well. Not just over there in Nevada and California.
Let's talk Cash App. Want to custom design your own masterpiece of a debit card? A few weeks ago, I reported on how the entire western half of the United States is currently being ravaged by a drought so bad that many are calling it a mega drought. And unfortunately, since then, things have only gotten worse as summer sets in. Because now comes the news that the states of California and Nevada are drought, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. Climate scientists also say that 72% of the western U.S. is now in severe drought or worse, and that this is the most extensive severe drought recorded in history.
Hey, you niggas better store some water or something.
And this, of course, has wide-ranging implications. There's the wildfires to consider. Such dry conditions make it much easier for one to ignite and to burn hotter and faster than it would normally.
And don't get offended at the rough speech, because the motherfucker ain't gonna listen to you. You talking nice anyway, talking all sweet and soft. Hey, go make sure you get you some water. You know, it's a drought going on out there. Just like we see a motherfucker going off a cliff, you ain't gonna be like, hey, watch out, it's a cliff over there. Well, hey, motherfucker, watch out, it's a fucking cliff right there. Don't keep going. Which one they gonna listen to quicker?
And in fact, California, Arizona, and New Mexico have each already had 2 large fires so early in the season. Experts are now predicting that this fire season will exceed last year's total of 10.3 million acres burned.
You already know why that fire shit popping on. Let me pull that. I ain't even gotta say the shit, nigga. I was just gonna let the image just speak. You got people, they was already on it as soon as I typed that shit in. You know, this is why the fires really was starting, because ain't no fire just start out of nowhere. And people been seeing it, man. Those who actually be paying attention, they actually care about what's really, really going on. These are the type of the games Esau play, man. And the Most High, the way he set it up, those who have understanding, he used Esau as his whipping stick. That's all. Took a base nation and made them the top. But now, they should follow now.
What's worse, they think we are now at the point where the fire season won't actually come to an end. Rather, wildfires will just continue to burn year-round. Then, of course, there's the fact that water's needed for crops and animals and, people to survive. Ranchers and farmers across the land are already experiencing hardships of all sorts, which could very well lead to food shortages. Wells are drying up everywhere, and the water level in Lake Mead has dropped so low that officials are warning there's a good chance the federal government will declare an official water shortage there, too. Yes, it's gotten so bad that climate scientists are now talking about it as an emerging megadrought. These are severe droughts that last for a particularly long time. They've occurred periodically over the past 1,000 years or so out in the West. Scientists have learned about them by studying ancient tree rings. They found one that lasted 80 years. All signs are pointing to the possibility that another megadrought is beginning to set in, one that looks to be even worse than anything we faced in 1,200 years.
Now, what this scripture say in the book of Ezekiel? Let me run it back one more time. It's in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 5, and verse 9. It says, "And I will do in thee that which I have not done, and whereunto I will not do any more like, because of all thine abominations." And a lot of people, they still don't consider this shit, man. Y'all, we in the information age. Let me get this real quick. See how easy I can just type in all this stuff. You ain't even got to type in the full fucking word. Just type in a few letters and the stuff pop up, even on your phone or whatever. So ain't no excuse to be like, oh, I ain't know this. I ain't know that shit exists. Then you got people that's breaking it down, precept upon precept, line upon line, using imagery, going into the different definitions, whether it be Greek, Latin, Hebrew, whatever. Let's see. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 12. It's on verse 3, and then I'll just read on down. But I'm going to start at verse 1, because this is a heavy chapter as well. Now, in verse 1 it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation." Just think about it, man. Listen to what she's saying. Let me run this back.
One that lasted 80 years.
A drought that lasts 80 years. Just think about that. I mean, no crops getting watered. The little water you do get to drink, it's going to be scarce. If you get to drink some of that, people are going to be fighting over water. You still got to bathe and wash your ass. A lot of people don't do that now anyway. You still got to bathe and wash your ass. You got to sanitize your stuff. Using water. So, hey, it's a whole domino effect from that. I'm run that back.
Studying ancient tree rings. They found one that lasted 80 years. All signs are pointing to the possibility that another megadrought is beginning to set in. One that looks to be even worse than anything we faced in 1,200 years.
In 1,200 years. Why is that, man? Hey, if you look at the biblical chart, man, everything line up. You got a what you call like a timeline. Like when you was in history class, they give you a timeline like, oh, this one, the Indians is over here doing this, or this one Columbus came over here, or this was happening in Egypt, or this one was happening in Rome, this one was happening in Greece. It's a whole timeline. Now we're at this part of the timeline. Let me read on some more though. In the book of Daniel, chapter 12, I'm going to read it again. In verse 1, it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince will stand up for the children of thy people." Because it's going to get so bad, the Most High going to really have to have the angels manifest and do miracles around us. You have some people that don't believe it. That's cool. When you see it happening for others and that shit ain't happening for you, then you're gonna wish you had faith and you believed in it. It says, and there should be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time, our people shall be delivered, everyone that should be found written in the book, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life. They go that immortality thing again, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Because those that perish, they're gonna come back, but they ain't gonna be able to be them top rulers, top kings, the ones that really have the bulk of the reward that certain men are looking forward to. It says, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, Daniel, show the words and seal the book. Even to the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. We got all this knowledge out, man, all this information out. Let's see, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna jump down a little bit. It's in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 8, it says, and I heard, but I understood it not. Then I said, oh my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and the wicked shall understand. So if you don't understand, man, hey, you better ask the Most High to cleanse you up and open your mind to something. It says, but the wise shall understand, and from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and abomination that make of desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Hold on, what this sound like? Run that back. What she say, how long?
The mega drought is beginning to set in, one that looks to be even worse than anything we faced in 1,200 years.
Man, come on, man, you can't make this shit up, man. Anyway, it say, blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. But go thy way to the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days, which that's speaking of reincarnation. Because ain't nobody lived no 1,000 damn years old. But whatever you was doing back then, you're going to be doing now. And that is what it is. And it is what it is, I should say. So I just want to bring this out, man. Hey, stay alert. Pay attention to the real shit that's going on. Get your house in order. Try to get your people in order as much as possible. Some of them ain't going to follow suit, so they're going to be all butt hurt. Because that's part of the scriptures. The main thing is they work out your salvation with fear and trembling. So you can make it, and those who really join into you like that, they'll be able to make it. And yeah, man. Whatever stuff you can store. Oh, let me put one more precept for in this up. Just get one more. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 65. Let's see, let's start at. I'm sorry, verse 11. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 11. It says, but ye are they that forsake the Lord, and that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for a troop, and that furnish a drink offering unto their number. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all